familiar, it's because we did it before for 10 years. And it didn't work. It didn't work for a bunch of different reasons. First, because no one can define what an assault weapon is. Second, because not that many people are killed by assault weapons. But Joe Biden doesn't care. If you go to Biden's website, you learn that assault weapons are responsible for, quote, our gun violence epidemic. They're weapons of war, and if you can get them off the street, this country will be a much safer place. Well, that's a total crock. And not only is it a lie, it's an appalling lie, contradicted completely by actual evidence. And here's the evidence. The most recent data from the FBI on this subject, come from 2019, was just released. And those numbers show that a total of 364 homicides in the entire country were committed in 2019 with a rifle, assault weapon or not, all rifles. To give you some context, that same year, 600 people were killed by what the FBI calls personal weapons, fists, feet, and hands. Meanwhile, knives and other cutting tools were used in a total of 1,476 homicides. Oh, so rifles of all kinds, including assault rifles, 370 something. Knives, 1,400. In other words, using the argument that Joe Biden is now making before the Supreme Court, police ought to be allowed to come into your house and seize your cutlery without a warrant. Cutlery control could save many times as many lives as a ban on AR-15s. So why aren't they making that argument? If you really wanted to save lives, you'd ban the things that cause the most deaths, wouldn't you? You would if you cared about public safety. If you cared about public safety, you'd also enforce the gun laws already on the books in, say, Chicago, Washington, Minneapolis, where they're not enforcing the gun laws. This has nothing to do with public safety. It's an attempt to punish the people who didn't vote for Joe Biden in November. A lot of these problematic voters have the guns the Biden administration is describing as assault weapons. And they know that they can humiliate Edward Canalia, just walk in and steal his guns. They can do it to you too. By the way, whatever you do, don't lie on a federal background check. Joe Biden would like every gun transaction, including gifts to your children, to require a federal background check. And if you lie on one of those forms, you go to prison for 5 years. Done, you're done. You go to prison for 5 years. Unless you're Hunter Biden, in which case the Secret Service shows up and tries to cover for you by confiscating the evidence from the gun store. That's what they tried to do in Delaware. If you're Hunter Biden, you're fine. If you're you, you're a felon. That'll teach you to vote the right way. Well, on Monday, we've got a new